I'm like, no. When Scott's gone, that gives me time to myself, you know. And she calls and just me around, and it's like she told me straight up, I can't make decisions on my own, and I'm just to the point where I just got so upset I had to like stop myself because it was like, I understand she's like the only person that I have for rides right now in town and out of town or whatever. But I'm about to just say, screw it, I'll walk, because she's, oh, I put your application in Villa Columba and you're number 33 on the list. And when I told her, I called her up yesterday and I told her I don't want the place in Derryville. She got pissed. She's like, I'm never helping you again attitude. But when she pulled up to get me a ride to storage after that, to get some things moved back in because I didn't know Scott's family was coming and the house was empty because I moved everything out and I own everything in the house. So, like, all the furniture and everything. So I needed to move it all back in so they had stuff to sit on or have it nice. This place isn't exactly immaculate. It is a farmhouse and it's wood floors and dirty and dusty. And, we have a farm and stuff, so it's like, it's not, top line, but it has a lot of work to do to get it comfortable for people to come over. And, when she pulled up, Scott went off on her because we spent 2 hours with the social worker begging her to give us our baby, and she said, no, no, no. There's been too many calls from your neighbor. And she pulled up, and Scott's like, hey, you've done enough. You cost me my kid, because when she pulled up, she started to talk to Scott and go, oh, I'm going to write a letter about the restraining order. And anyway, well, he went off on her, and then she just sped off with me in the car, and then went off on me the whole way to storage. Fuck him. He don't need to get his kid back, and blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, I'm okay.
Where are you right now?
Fine.
Are you okay right now? I mean, where are you? Are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I'm at home and getting ready to cook Scott some breakfast and
So when was this place in Derryville? Is this something recent?
this Dairyville thing was yesterday, but she
Oh.
had been working on it for 2 weeks behind my back. I never asked her to go find me a place to rent. I never told her to go fill out applications for me. I never told her any of that. She did it all behind my back, and then on the way to storage, she was like, I'm not going to write the letter, he didn't learn a damn thing, he's still the same asshole he always was, attitude. And I'm not going to help him get his kid back. And I turned to her and I said, well, you're not helping me get my kid back because the only way I'm going to be able to have Gracie in my life is if he gets her. And she goes, oh, no, that's a crock of shit. They got to give you the baby. They can't give the baby to him. And they have to give the baby to you. And I said, they can't legally give the baby to me because I've lost 2 prior kids in the county. They can't do it. The only way I can be involved is if the father gets the baby. And then,
Oh yeah, I see.
So I'm really pissed off now because of everything your aunt has done. I'm to the point of, okay, and if I tell her I have an appointment to go to, she'll automatically like write it down, and then I'm getting ready for my appointment, and I didn't ask for a ride, right? She'll call me up and go, are you ready to go? I'm ready to go, and I'm like, I didn't ask for a ride. What though you need a ride? You can't, you don't have a ride. And I'm like, yeah, I actually do. And then she gets all pissed off. And it's like, well, I thought you were going to go to Walgreens, and I thought you were going to get this turned in, and I thought you were going to go pick up the memory card, and I thought you were going to go here, there, and there. And, let me take you right now. Let me take you right now. And I was like, I don't need a ride. So I'm really mentally, physically exhausted with her right now, and it's like, now, and then I filled up her tank, and then she was like, I'm not moving any of your stuff anymore. Scott wants to be rude and blah, blah, and an asshole. He can move your shit back in, and I'm not helping you anymore with moving. This is the only load I'm going to do. this stuff in for his family.
Does Scott know about me? I mean, as far as my friendship helping you, and is he angry at me? Should I be worried? Is he cool with me?
He's okay.
He's
I
okay.
don't think there's a problem, though.
That's good.
But, I mean, I just don't know how to get her to stop. So I was going to tell Ann, the landlord and friend, this is what she's doing. Because, see, Lane told Ann yesterday night, or around 7, after all this stuff happened in one day, she told her that because of Scott's attitude cost him the baby, he did it to himself. And she screamed it at me in my face. He did it to himself. He did it to himself. And I said, well, wait a minute. The social worker said neither one of us is getting Gracie back. So what made you think he did it to himself? Hello? You just cost me my baby. Too. Not just him. And she was like kind of gloating about it, like, ha ha ha, he's never going to get the baby, ha ha ha. And it's not funny, because God has done a really amazing job with, doing everything they asked him to do. The classes, whatever. I don't want to get into details because he doesn't like me getting too personal or whatever, but you pretty much know the deal. They give you a list of classes to do and visits. He sees the baby Monday through Friday, and I see the baby one day a month. So
do you feel safe with
oh yeah,
Scott and everything?
we went to couples counseling, and it went great. And then, I told Elaine everything's going good. And then when she pulled up and he was yelling at her, I already had told her before she came over here that everybody's upset. We just got the worst news of our life. Don't talk to Scott. And when she pulled up, she immediately was like, oh, I'm going to da-da-da-da-da. And he cut her right off and was screaming at her. And he had all rights to, because I was there. The social worker made it perfectly clear that it was her calling up and getting a restraining order on him, even though she dropped it. And when she dropped it, this is the letter she said. It was like, oh, you're doing so good in parenting in this class and that class, but, I didn't feel the restraining order was necessary, and you can have your kid back, blah, blah, blah. So she didn't even file the restraining order because she was scared. She filed it just to stop him from getting the baby. Imagine that. So, and then she was telling me at 9 o'clock last night, she took my court papers to her house. I didn't get to unload her car all the way before she took off.
Oh.
And I go over there at 9:30, and she was, doing her thing, naked. And, I said, I'm here for my court papers. And he goes, well, why don't you just do it here? I don't want to give them to you. And I said, why? Well, I don't want Scott to have them. Well, Scott already does have them. Whatever I have for the court, he has. Well, no, you could just do it here. I said, no, I'm taking my papers and I'm leaving. And then she knew I was going to do a want to cubbies this Sunday, and she goes, no, you don't need a ride from Scott. I'm going to take you, and you're going to come over to my house and be ready by 10, and just walk on over here and don't even talk to him about church. Just come on over here.
Does Elaine have a boyfriend?
Like, no.
Does Elaine have a boyfriend? I just always wondered.
What?
She doesn't have a boyfriend, does she? Because once her husband passed away, it's been hard for her. Does she have a boyfriend, Elaine? Or
I don't think so.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
No, I don't think she does, but I mean...
I'm sorry.
She's calling me Mommy Elaine, which that was okay at first, but now it's just getting kind of out of control. Because when this guy in Derryville, saw me, he was like, this is your daughter, da-da-da-da-da, and I was like, no, she's a friend. She's not my family. She's a friend. So she's telling everybody she adopted me, which is not true. I just thought at the time in Magalia, she was like, okay, Mommy Elaine I thought it was just a one-time thing. But no, she's telling everybody that she adopted me and I'm her daughter. And, putting it on application. She's like, make sure you put my name on the application and not your dad or anybody. And I said, no, my dad is my emergency contact.
Mm-hmm.
Always will be. He's my secondary power of attorney underneath Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's my dad.
Yeah.
And she was telling me not to put my dad on there and put her. So all the phone calls went to her. And she went down to this other lady's house at the corner and was like, I want to know if Cassandra can park her car over here because her abusive boyfriend, I don't want him to see what her car looks like. And, you know, I want her to be able to see me and stay here. And, you know, and I, you know, pick me up and stuff. And I don't want Scott to know what car she drives. And the lady just totally freaked out of Scott now. And she don't even know her. I don't even know her. I don't even know her name. He don't even know her name. And I don't even know what, you know, I know exactly where the house is, but I don't know who this person is myself. And she don't want to talk to either one of us.
Mm-hmm.
So she just caused me nothing but collateral damage. And, you know, she's always like, oh, it's for, you know, doing this is to help you and out of love and all that. No. When I tell her something, she tells everyone now. And I'm starting to, you know, I'm figuring it out because there's so many people around here coming up to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you trust.
I don't know how to stop it.
I'm glad you still consider me a friend, even though I haven't been able to pay you and everything. I really appreciate you calling me.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm really upset because I told her to delete the social worker's number. Don't ever call the social worker. And what she did yesterday, as soon as Scott blew up at her, she called the social worker. Oh, he didn't change a bit. I was so wrong. And I said, Elaine, he's hurt. That's his fucking kid. Do you understand? I understand you had kids and you lost them in order, but this is Scott's only child that he absolutely does love and he never has abused her in any way, shape, or form. Me and him never, ever raised our voice around the baby or anything. So, I mean, we're both still cheated out of the system with the baby right now, you know?
Yeah, I can
The
imagine.
dumb thing that happened, and the baby should have never been removed in the first place. But I told her, Scott and I are, I mean, I'm upset, but I'm trying to keep my cool, you know? And he will just blow like a bomb when he's upset. You know, he was pouring tears on the phone with the social worker and then turned straight anger. And I warned her before she came over here, don't talk to him, don't look at him, don't say anything. You have to understand he's hurt. He just got the worst news of his life. Don't listen to anything I have to say. He's just venting, and he's pissed at you because the social worker did say it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
We're calling and calling and calling and calling and writing letters and calling and filing our restraining order and dropping it. And, you know, so, I mean, she had all right to be upset, and I told her, don't talk to him. And then the second she pulls up, she has her window down, and she initiated the talk while he was out there trimming bushes, you know, when she was picking me up. And
what did she say?
listen to me at all.
What did she say to him? Or?
When she pulled up, she's like, I'm going to write a letter about that restraining order. And then he just blew up on her like, hey, you've done enough. You're a meddlesome bitch. You've done enough. Get on with your badass.
Mm-hmm.
What he said. That's what he said. Meddlesome bitch. That's what he called her.
Meddlesome. I never heard.
Sorry.
I know what it means. I never heard that term before.
Well, meddling in
Meddling
somebody
in-
else's business. Meddling, you know. And that's exactly what she is doing. And then when I called Ann, I said, hey, good morning, Ann. I'm trying to catch you before church. It's 8:05, and could you please call me? I really need to talk to you. You know, please call me back by. And then Elaine calls me up like 5 minutes later. Oh, Ann called me and wanted to know what you wanted and why you're calling. And I told her you didn't want us to call the social worker anymore, and she never called the social worker. And I figured that's what it was about. So could you call me and tell me what it was so I could tell her, please, blah, blah, blah. And it's none of her business. If I want to talk to Ann, I want to talk to Ann about whatever I want to talk to Ann about. it's not your aunt's business what I want to talk to Ann about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really aggravating, and I can't get her to stop. And, you know, if I have to just have no rides, then I have to have no rides, because I cannot afford to lose my third child in a row. Gracie is just, out of all three girls, she's the one that looks the most like me. Red hair, curly hair, blue eyes, you know, I have green eyes, but she has blue eyes. But I mean, the facial features, everything, she is totally mommy out of all three girls.
And
And
how is she doing with health-wise?
she's doing so much better. She's crawling, she's talking, she's saying dad, and la and stuff, and she's rolling over, and she doesn't have any delays anymore. She is not deaf anymore. She passed the hearing test with flying colors.
Oh.
And the only problem she is having is with her eye. It still turns inward, and we're not quite sure if she can see out of it still, but she can see out of the other one. So she's not like paralyzed anymore. She's not having seizures. She's not needing that brain scan or anything. She's actually right up to par and went from gross motor skill delayed to perfect.
Wow,
you know,
that's good.
It's like my prayers have been answered every day.
Did you have her home? Have her home for a while, or?
No, we, because of your aunt, we're not going to be having her home till May or June of next year. They have to file a 6-month extension in October on the 29th because they say our relationship is volatile and we're unstable, in that I've moved out too much, and, you know, she told him that I held a knife to my throat because that's what Scott told her or something. But this was back in
You did the bait.
April.
You held a knife to what now?
But I held a knife to my throat.
Oh, to your
That's
throat.
what he told her, so she told the social worker that.
Oh, like
Well, that wasn't true.
like a suicide thing or something?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I don't think you're suicidal, are you?
I used to be. I mean, I have been before. I've been 5150 before, and that's how the baby was removed, was a 5150, because I cut myself.
Oh,
So,
I see.
you know, that's pretty much it. And I was dumb, and I said he did it. I panicked. Cops came here. I was like, no. He did it, and whatever. I was not seeing clearly. I was on pain medication that was really, really, really strong, and I had taken like too much, and it just flew out of my mouth. And they're like, "Oh, we don't know who did it, so but you have a history, so we have to take Glenn and the baby in, and we can't give the baby to him because we don't know if he really did it or not." But then by the time I got to mental health and I've been in, I told them the truth, and they let me go at 6 hours. And I was supposed to pick the baby back up, and they dropped everything on Scott. Because I told him I lied, because I panicked and everything. But the social worker said, I believe he did it, because they're not consistent with your wounds of the past. I said, what? That's ridiculous. But she insisted that Scott really did it, and insisted on taking the baby anyway for domestic violence. You know, so
must be hard for. Must be really frustrating for Scott to. It must be really frustrating.
Not fair to him at all. It was not fair to him at all. The reason I panicked is because at that point, he hadn't changed one diaper, one bottle, 3.5 months, the baby was 3.5 months old, and I was, C-sectioned in hernia surgery, and I didn't have one bit of help. He was always like, no, I'm busy, and I don't want to hold the baby, I don't know how to hold a baby, and never had a baby before, okay? So I didn't use bottles because I was breastfeeding. So the baby was totally breastfed. And regardless what medications I was on and stuff, I was breastfeeding her completely. So I never made a bottle or anything for him, or,
Yeah.
I'm going to change like 2 diapers before the baby was removed. But I didn't feel like he could actually do it. I was kind of scared. So when I said, oh, he did it, I knew that they wouldn't give him the baby. because I knew he couldn't take care of her, and he even flat out admitted he couldn't. And so I didn't know what to do. We didn't have nobody to help us, and I'm like, oh God, baby all to himself, and he can't even change a diaper, and he doesn't know anything about formula. Bottle, I never showed him. How the hell is he going to care for her while I'm in a 5150 hold? I was panicking. So, I mean, I explained it all afterwards, but the damage was already done, you know, and not fair to him at all. And, you know, Elaine is just like, oh, no, you're just covering for him. You don't, you know, he just won't take responsibility for not helping you and all that. And I'm like, yes, he has. He told the social worker he didn't help me, and he didn't give me enough support, and he didn't learn the techniques he needed to learn to help me, and he didn't offer to help me, and he did own up to it. And your aunt just wants to just label him as this bad or abusive guy, but it's not like that all the time. You know, a lot of times I get stupid and start fights, or he'll start a fight, or whatever. You know, it's not just him. And she's like, oh, no, it's all him. It's all him. He's controlling. He's controlling. I'm like, not as controlling as you. You want to control where I go, what I do. You're doing things on my back. You're telling people stuff, you know, and I've already told you people don't need to hear that stuff. When I tell you something in private, if something that bad happens, you don't need to tell the whole world. You don't need to tell your whole family. You don't need to tell your friends. You don't need to tell my neighbors, my social worker, whoever.
Yeah.
He's telling everybody. I'm sure he's told you 100 things, you know, before I even got there. You pretty much knew my life story before I got there, and it was kind of twisted.
Did you know I went to Red Bluff Church there, and I thought I might see you, but I didn't see you there.
Yeah, she told me.
Yeah. Well, hey, guess what I did last night?
Now,
guess what I did?
That looks like he's irritated.
Hey, I went to karaoke last night.
Oh, really?
I was coming up the hill. It was still light. It wasn't dark. And it was like 6:30, and it said karaoke. So I stopped, and it was at a restaurant, and it was a husband and a wife and a 2-year-old little girl, and she was singing "Jesus Loves Me." It was really cute.
Aww.
And then I sang some songs, and it was really fun. The guy was really nice. Yeah, I was just gonna say I admire your singing and I liked our conversation when you came, and I'm sorry that you're going through a difficult time there. And I know it's not.
So, 'cause he was in the kitchen when you asked me how it was, and now he like took off, and now he's coming back. He looks mad, so I don't know.
It's okay.
Because I went into too much detail and he heard me, but I feel that your family needs to know what your aunt did, because I don't know how to make her stop in a nice way. Because when I'm nice, it's like, oh yeah, you're just a pushover, you know. She doesn't listen to me, even when I'm nice. Yeah. I say, please don't do something, she'll do it anyway.
You know, I can hear a lot of bad stuff about a person, but I know down deep that people want to be good. You know, sometimes their problems surmount and cause them to, you know, have difficulty understanding their own, their own hurt. And anger is an extension of hurt. It's an expression of hurt. So I understand that when people are angry, that they're hurting, and so I don't hold it against Scott, or I don't have anything, I don't think anything really bad of him. I mean,
Well, no, when I tell your aunt that I'm taking responsibility for, like, me hitting him first or something, because that's what I have, she'll be like, oh, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, I hit him first because I was scared. He raised his fist, I just reacted, boom, and then we're in a big brawl, okay? So she just don't want to believe that. Oh, you're just sticking up for him, or you're covering for him, and I know better than that. And I'm like, no, you don't. I'm telling you that I hit him first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being honest with you. Why would I go out of my way and say, hey, I hit this dude? If I didn't, I mean, come on. You think I'm going to go around town saying I beat up my boyfriend if I didn't? I mean, come on. Which I can't. He's way bigger than you. I can't,
Yeah.
beat him up. But what I'm saying is when I take responsibility for my actions and my wrongdoing, she kind of throws it in my face like I'm a liar or I'm just covering for him, and that's not true. Like, no, I made a commitment to God to be honest. Yeah, I have a potty mouth. I've had one since I was 2, and it's kind of embedded in me. But just because I swear doesn't mean I don't believe in God. Doesn't mean I don't read my Bible and pray every day and go to church. I have a potty mouth since I was little, but I have a big, strong heart behind whatever. I don't care. I work on it, and it used to be the F word every word. I mean, all the time. Since I was 2, my parents, that's all they did was swear. When I grew up, it was just swearing, swearing, swearing. That's all I learned. My first word was the F word. I mean, that's not a joke. And, I work on it. I know it offends some people, but it's like, hey, people that really know me since I was, like, little know that I just can't help it. It just comes out. And, she's like, watch your mouth, da-da-da-da, sometimes. But a lot of the times she swears more than I do. Because when I'm around her, I actually contain myself pretty good. And then she's the one going off. But she's just like, God is so controlling, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, if I had to pick between Elaine and Scott and being controlling, it'd be your aunt. Controlling me. I mean, dude doesn't control me. He doesn't like me to go places sometimes, and I have to stick around the house and clean. But I mean, that's just what he wants. It's not like, he didn't want me to go to the casino and blow money, and I wanted to go to the casino, and I wanted to blow money. And he was like, no, no, no. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go whether you like it or not. He's like, oh, you're not going to go. You don't have the money. And that's stupid of you. And then Elaine is like, well, sneak out, and I'll take you anyway. And I'm like, no, Elaine, I'll get in trouble. No, you're going to let him control you? And I said, no, I agreed with him I wouldn't go. And she's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm in the driveway, let's go. It's 11 o'clock, he won't even know you're gone. I said, no, if I go, I'm going to break that promise to him that I said I wouldn't go. And I'm not going to go. See, you're letting him control you all over again. I'm like, no, I had an agreement with my man, I wouldn't go. I said I wouldn't go, and you want me to go anyway. You're a grown woman, you want to go somewhere, you should be able to go somewhere. And I said, well, he had logic behind it. He was right, I didn't have the money to spend. Even though I had free money on the casino card, I just didn't, been $5, $5 to $10. And the most they could give me for free was $100. It's one of those free nights, you just bring your card in and you get anywhere between $5 and $100 a random. So you don't know how much money you're going to get, but the most you'll get is $100, the least you'll get is $5. So I mean, that's all they tell you when you go in. So you're risking driving 22 miles morning or whatever to spend either $5 or $100 free. So it's kind of not worth it to go all the way down there and only get like $5 or $10.
Yeah, I know.
Well, he had logic behind it. And, Scott has told your aunt 100 times over, I don't want you over here. You wanted a restraining order, you wanted no contact, and now you just want contact. You say you're scared of me and shit, well, go away. Leave me alone. Don't come over to my property. Well, she's over here every day, all day. Fuck, I don't even know how many times. I can't even count. I can't even give you an estimate. It's at least 5 a day that she is over here. And she'll, look and make sure his truck is on and then come over here anyway. And, oh, I didn't see Scott's truck over there. I figured it's okay to come over because he ain't there and I want to see you. And I'm like, no, he told you, don't come over here. Now, it's one thing if I ask him if it's okay if she gives me a ride or something, then he's like, okay, she's coming over to give you a ride. But she just wants to come over here to come over here to come over here. She made him a pie, a pear pie, and he just was like, I don't want it.
What was last time
Left it on the porch anyway.
Last time you called, I was worried I had an emergency going on, and I felt really bad that I couldn't talk to you, but you were somewhere sitting, I don't know where, but you said you needed a place to go or something. I can't remember. Or you're, what
Yeah,
did you
I
say?
moved out.
I'm sorry I didn't have time to talk to you. I mean, I feel bad. I do now. Now I'm talking to you, right? So I'm making up for it. It's
Yeah,
not
but I
every
mean,
time.
and then she got all pissed off again because, I told her no on that place. And then she was like, he's just going to beat you up again. It's just a matter of time. And I'm like, yeah, okay. She's, she's reliving her past and what's going on and what people are telling me, She just, feels that he's just like her past husbands or something. I don't know. But she'll tell me, oh, I can't go through this anymore. I can't keep moving you in and out, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. And it's like, no one's forcing you to. I'm not forcing you and bending your arm and breaking your arm to, turn the steering wheel and drive me anywhere, or turn the key, or say, hey, man, you got to do this or else, or I'll whoop your ass, or, I'm not forcing you to help me. I'm not forcing you for rides. I'm not forcing you to move me in and out. That's your own decision to help me. And I don't appreciate it when you help me out and then just blow it up in my face. Like, I don't want to move you in and out anymore, and I don't want to do this, and, well, then don't do it. I'm not forcing you. You don't have to. So that's like you're the only person that's there to help me. I said, I could call up anybody to come down here and help me move. You're a prime example I could ask.
Mm-hmm.
She just don't get it. She feels like she has to rescue me, and she's the only person that can do it. And then when she does, she complains about it. Like, I'm not going to move you in and out anymore. I'm not moving your stuff anymore. But then she'll be moving it the next day. And it's like, hey, I thought you weren't going to move it anymore, but you're doing it, and now you're going to go off on me about it. So I'm really confused. And it's just to the point where, I just want nothing to do with her. Nothing. Nothing. I don't care if I have to hitchhike to Miguel if I have to go there again. I really don't want nothing to do with her anymore. I just can't take it. I mean, I've asked her, I don't know how many times, don't call my social worker, delete the number. And she's been calling the whole time. It's like, if you were my friend, real friend, or mommy figure, whatever you want to call yourself, I tell you to please not do something, you shouldn't do it. But just because you're 69 and I'm 30 doesn't mean you override that decision. I'm asking you not to call. Please. You're going to cost me my baby. She's like, no, I'm going to cost him the baby. No, you're costing me the baby too. You're not getting it.
Yeah.
You cost him the baby, you're costing me the baby because he's the only one that can get the baby back. And I keep my rights to this baby. So out of all the kids I've lost, is the only one I can keep my rights to as long as the dad gets custody. So, and even if he were to, it's so easy to win in family court. Because once CPS gives custody, it turns into a family law case. They go out of it. They do pop in and out for 6 months once they give you the baby. And they close the case in 6 months of the baby being home with no problem. And they transfer it to a family court case.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can petition the family court for full custody because of blah, 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 blah later. He said, look at the big picture. Hello. You may have the baby for 6 months, and that could be totally it. Okay? So I am not mad if he gets the baby because it's so easy for me to get her right back.
Mm-hmm.
By me staying stable and going to mental health, go to my classes, go to whatever they want me to do, and then some, and being in the same spot stable, I can still petition the court for custody once he has custody, and the case is closed with CPS. She just doesn't get it.